Welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. What I want to talk to you about in this video is I want to talk to you about something that I have experienced and I want to share those experiences with you. I want to talk to you about dating as an older man while living abroad. This is something that I know a lot of guys that are watching, will experience. If you plan on moving abroad, and you're over 40, up in your 50s like me, and you're single, all right? You're divorced. Some of you guys may be widowed, maybe widowers, unfortunately. Some of you guys may have never been married, So yeah, I want to talk to you about dating while living abroad, when you're an older man. And in particular, I'll talk to you about, what it's like for me as an older man, an older single man, living here in Colombia. Now, let's start out by dispelling some of the myths about older men, saying when they go overseas and they're looking for love, all right? Now, one of the biggest myths out there is that you're gonna be, as an older man, you're easily finessed as an older man. That's something that I've heard. I hear that a lot from younger guys. Oh yeah, if you go overseas, the women are gonna like you because you're easier to finesse. That's not true. All right, you're not easier to finesse. And as an older man, you have a lot more wisdom. You should be a little bit more seasoned, and you should be able to pick up on a lot of things a lot quicker than even some younger guys. Now, has it happened, where older men have gotten played around with? Yeah, it has, but I wouldn't say as an older man that you're going to be somebody who's easily finessed by women, Yeah, so let's knock that out of the water there. That's not true. Now, another thing that people are gonna say is that, oh, you're an older man, you're going overseas looking for love. Any woman you meet is gonna be a transactional thing. It's gonna be superficial. That's not true either. Especially here in Colombia. As an older man, yeah, you're gonna meet. There will be some women that might try to get at your money, but a lot of it depends on the how and the where. How and where are you meeting women? Now obviously, if you decide to use dating apps or hang out in clubs late at night, meeting a lot of women, especially younger women, women that are not really working or doing anything for themselves, then yeah, you might run into some materialistic women. But if you put yourself in a position when you move overseas where you're meeting women who are a little bit older, more mature, maybe educated, and have a professional career, then it's less likely you're going to be in a transactional situation or come across any kind of superficial women. And the people who say these things are mostly American women that are hating on men that go overseas. Yeah, and they got a lot of nerve saying that because the most transactional and superficial women I've seen are American women. Yeah, a lot of women you meet overseas are not going to be as superficial and transactional as you might think, especially here in Colombia. Yeah, a lot of women in Colombia, they're mostly into men for what type of human being you are. Especially if you, like I said, if you get away from the club scene and all that stuff, you'll meet women that are not really going to be going after your money and everything. Yeah, they're going to be judging you more of what type of man you are, what type of human being. Yeah, Colombian women are nowhere near as superficial and transactional as American women. Yeah, so let's dispel that myth as well and shoot that down. All right. Yeah, another thing that you'll probably hear and something you'll probably be accused of is that as an older man, you know, moving overseas and everything, you're just going to be looking to take advantage of poverty-stricken third world women or something, you know. You're going to be a manipulator, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be chasing after young girls or something. And that's not true either, you know. You know, myself and most men I meet that are older, you know, we're looking for a good woman that we can love, you know what I'm saying? We're looking for our companion, you know what I'm saying? We're not looking to take advantage of nobody. We're not looking to manipulate nobody, you know what I'm saying? And we're not chasing after nobody that's way too young for us or anything like that, you know? And as far as the poverty-stricken and the third world stuff, that obviously comes from people who haven't traveled and been overseas, because, you know, a lot of the countries they're talking about are not as poverty-stricken in third world as they say it is, you know. And even if somebody is poor, that doesn't automatically mean that they can be easily manipulated, or that they lack intelligence or something, or that somehow American women just got more brains than they do or something like that. No, you know, the women that you meet here in Colombia, no, they're not going to be easily manipulated, you know what I'm saying? You know, even if they do come from a poorer situation, you know. And like I said, myself and most older men that I meet, you know, that are living abroad and everything, we're not looking to manipulate women or taking advantage of them in any kind of way, you know. Yeah, we're genuinely looking for a good woman, you know, for a relationship, somebody that we can, you know, love and have that companionship with that woman. Now, culturally, here in Colombia, women here in Colombia, they're much more mature and ready to settle down and get married at younger ages. Yeah, that's a very common thing here. Women look for husbands at younger ages. They don't go through whole phases, and there's no hookup culture here in Colombia. Yeah, so when women are in that late teens, their 20s and everything, even if they're pursuing an education and a career, they're looking for a husband, you know, so they're looking to settle down at a younger age. And so a lot of men, obviously, in that age group that they're in, they're not looking to settle down, you know what I'm saying? They're not really mature yet and ready to settle down. So yes, so that's one of the reasons why Colombian women, they may have a tendency to look for older men, you know, and want to be with an older guy and be attracted to older guys, you know. So when you see younger Colombian women that are attracted to older men, it's not a money thing or anything like that. You know, a lot of it has to do with maturity and stability. You know, that's why they're looking for an older guy. You know, they want a guy that's, you know, looking for the same thing they're looking for, you know, and they're looking for marriage, you know, even though they're younger. And so they'll look for that older man, you know, for that, you know, because he has that maturity and stability, and he's more ready for that relationship. So that's something that you'll probably deal with here in Colombia. You'll find yourself surprised that a lot of younger women here will be genuinely interested in you. You know what I'm saying? They'll have an attraction to you. And it won't be about your cash or nothing like that. You know, in America, yeah, if a younger woman is interested in an older man, it probably is a money thing in America. You know what I'm saying? It won't be no genuine interest. She's just trying to get your paper, you know? But here, one of the differences you'll see is that younger women will show interest in the older guy, and it'll be more genuine, you know? And it might catch you off guard a little bit, because I know it's caught me off guard a couple of times, you know? Now, with that being said though, you just have to know as an older guy, you know, if you're in your 40s and 50s, you have to know, you know, how young is too young for you to be dealing with, you know. So, because you don't want to be with a woman that's way too young for you or nothing like that. and not be compatible with her or anything, you know. And of course, yeah, if you are with somebody that's way too young, much younger, there is the likelihood that you can get used and taken advantage of. So I always say, like, you know, as a general rule of thumb, and you may have heard this before, the youngest woman you should date is maybe half your age plus 7. All right. So, for example, if you're 50 years old, the youngest woman you should date maybe is around 32. All right. And that gives you 18 years right there. You know what I'm saying? And so, if you go younger than that, you know, it's less likely that you'll be compatible with the woman. And it is also an increased likelihood that you may get used and taken advantage of. And so, for me, as a man in his mid-50s, you know, yeah, I try to make sure that the women I deal with are at least in their late 30s or over 40, you know. And what I've found, you know, living here in Colombia, the women that I've met that have been, like, you know, really nice women, you know, professional and educated and everything, I've met them, you know, not in the nightlife or nothing like that or using dating apps. I've met them just going about my daily business every day, you know, out and about, you know, saying maybe women that are coming out of an office building or something like that, while they're at work or something. And I've also met them at events where you will find more corporate type professional women, you know, like instead of using a dating app, I'll use the Meetup app, and I'll find events on there where I can go and you know, meet more women that are a little bit older, more mature, and also women that got something going for themselves where it's less likely they're gonna be trying to play me or use me or take advantage of me. You feel me? And so that's the advice I would give you too. You know, in Colombia as an older man, you know. Another thing that helps as well is learning the language. You know what I'm saying? You know, getting on an app or something like that, and taking some lessons and improving your Spanish. You know, being conversational at least or something. That helps a lot with women. You know what I'm saying? With your dating. Yeah. So, you know, as an older man here in Colombia, and dating while living abroad, there are going to be some differences, some cultural differences that you have to be prepared for, you know, meeting women. One thing that I will say about Colombian women are very family oriented. You know, the family is very important. And even if a woman is older and more mature, you know, say over the 30s or whatever, maybe even the 40s, her family is going to have an input in her dating decisions. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's something that you have to be prepared for. Is that, yeah, how her family feels about you is going to play a big part in your relationship. You know what I'm saying? So you meet a Colombian woman, and if you have a chance to meet her family, her parents and everything, especially her moms, you know, if they're not feeling you for whatever reason, then that can pretty much torpedo a relationship, you know? Yeah, that's going to play a big part. So, so be prepared to deal with the family, you know what I'm saying? And make a good impression on them. Yeah, because that's going to be very important. You know, Colombian women are not going to be as independent-minded as an American woman when it comes to making decisions on her man. You know what I'm saying? Her family going to play a big part in that as well. Yeah, so that's something you have to be prepared with. And like I said, you know, another cultural difference obviously is that you may have younger women than you expected showing genuine interest in you as well. You know, that's something that you'll be prepared for. And like I said, you have to just know how young is too young for you that you know can deal with. But you know, and then of course, you know, get the language thing is something you have to work on. And so, yeah, dating over 40, you know, living abroad and, you know, dating as an older man, yeah, you're gonna notice a lot of differences and, you know, a lot of cultural differences. And what I want you guys to do, you know, saying, I want you guys to get in the comments and just ask me some questions, you know, saying, so I can get back to you and give you more feedback on this. Yeah, because I'd be very interested to see, you know, your opinions and everything, and just see what you would like to know about. So please like and share this video, and if you're new to the channel, I appreciate you subscribing. All right, and there's a link in my bio where you can find resources that I have available to you for those that are interested in moving abroad and just want to know more about you know, what it's like to live outside the United States. All right, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you the next time. It's the Old Head Abroad, KJ Mack.